Good morning. Welcome to week 14. We are live on Convince Me from the Action Network on Action Network HQ. I am Chad Millman, and the window is getting that much tighter to get your bets in. We are going to give you all the news you need to make all the great decisions you need to make some money today. No hot air analysis, no one tugging at your heartstrings. We're just giving you information, people. We got Katie Rich Creek. We got Dan Ravel on the Action Network news desk and giving me their favorite props, their favorite size, their favorite totals, trying to convince me how I should spend all this money. Sean Corner, Matthew Friedman, Chris Raybon. Fellas, when we did our Convince Me show on Thursday night in advance of the game, we went 2-1. We did 3 props. We talked about all the bets that we liked for that Thursday night game. Sean Corner won his prop. Chris Raybon gave us half a dozen Cam Newton under props that he won. Matthew Friedman ruined it for everybody. So let's see if he can make amends today. Sean Corner, you're gonna be up first, and we're gonna do a little prize off of your prop, your exclusive Sunday Night Football prop. Give it to us, brother.
So my Sunday Night Football prop tonight is the over for Chase Claypool receiving yards. Right now you can get it at 40.5. So with Claypool, I'm buying the dip after he saw his playing time cut nearly in half last week. The last time I was able to get on a Chase Claypool over was in week 5. I got the over 23.5, and he went off for 110 yards and 4 touchdowns. So it's been a while since I've been able to get on some Chase Claypool. I've been in line with the market ever since, obviously. I still haven't figured out why his playing time, was chopped so much last week. But the Steelers did end up losing their first game. So hopefully they correct their mistake this week and get this talented rookie more playing time. The Steelers have had some dropping issues the past couple weeks. They've had 11 drop passes. Claypool's the only receiver over 10 targets that hasn't dropped a pass. So hopefully that buys him some more playing time tonight. I'm projecting him to bounce back a little bit closer to his typical usage that we've seen over the past 9 games. And he's actually gone over this total in 7 of those 9 games. So, he's shown a pretty high floor in this offense, despite being the number 3 receiver. So I love the over tonight. And I'd bet this up to 45.5 to 46.5.
All right, what do you have as your percentage? You always sort of give the percentages that this will happen. So what are your percentages this will happen at 40.5 up to 45.5?
I'd put it around 58 to 60%. This is, I'm taking a little bit of a leap of faith because I'm expecting his usage to bounce back. So there's a little bit more volatility on this, but I think it's safe enough to call it a 58 to 60% win rate here.
All right, so if you want to win real cash on Sean Corner's exclusive Sunday Night Football prop, reply to Action Network HQ with the total number of receiving yards you think Chase Claypool will have. Do that with the exact number, replying to @Action Network HQ, and you will win some money. Chase Claypool, all I know, very big on the TikTok. I hear a lot about Chase Claypool on the TikTok, and it was big news when he came out with his first post-loss TikTok post. Matthew Friedman.
That was straight from your kids, Chad. I mean, the TikTok, like George W. Bush, the Twitter. I mean, God, that was so obvious.
Darren, it's not your turn yet. Can you wait? I can only be disgusted by so many people in a row at one time. And right now it's Matthew Friedman's turn to disgust me. Go ahead and disgust me, Friedman.
Chad, frankly, I'm disappointed that Darren jumped in right there because I was going to slam you a little bit for your TikTok hippery right there. But anyway, Chad, as you noted, I have recently gone astray with the props that I've pitched. And I think the problem is that I've been looking at number 3 wide receivers. On Friday, I promised you that today I would not talk about a number 3 wide receiver. And I am a man of my word. And so I am talking about a number 4 wide receiver. That's right. Desean Hamilton of the Broncos. We're going under 7.5 yards receiving. Here's the thesis. He's the number 4 wide receiver. And there's so much that goes along with that. He's hardly on the field. When he's on the field, he's not always running routes. When he's running routes, he's not always targeted. When he's targeted, he doesn't always catch the ball. And even when he does catch the ball, it's usually not for that much yardage. Over the past 3 weeks, he has just 45 snaps, 12 routes, 1 target, which, by the way, was from Kendall Hinton and was intercepted, and he has no receptions. All right, for his career, he has 5.8 yards per target because he's hardly ever targeted downfield. This line really should be 3.5. At 7.5, I'd be willing to bet it to -160. Desean Hamilton under 7.5 yards receiving. This guy might not even see a target.
I don't even know why books would post a prop for Desean Hamilton at under 7.5 yards. The 4th receiver for the Broncos might as well not even be in the NFL. That makes zero sense to me. Freeman, I'm not even sure I'll be able to find this. I'm offended.
It's at William Hill.
That you're
it's
offering
at William
to
Hill.
our users.
No, it's out there. This is a bet that is out there.
I don't even know if I want to entertain it. I'm genuinely disappointed in you going with a 4th receiver. Normally, like, I'm all in on your props because you are giving me something that sort of the market isn't paying attention to. And that's normally where there are massive opportunities for bettors, no matter what sort of price you're betting it up to. It's kind of like a 180-minute savings bond, right? Like, you put the money down, you know you're likely to get a return on that investment. But Jesus Christ, Friedman, the 4th receiver on the Broncos, Raybon, give me something better than that.
Well, first of all, I think you got to fade TikTok. I'm hearing it's they're using it to spy on us. So you're just throwing that out there, but I digress. I will give you Ryan Griffin of the Jets. Books posted a prop for him because the Jets are banged up at wide receiver, but you're talking about a number 2 tight end on an 0-12 football team. I like the under 12.5 receiving yards. I would bet it down to under 10.5. And he's caught multiple passes in 4 games this year. In the other 8, he's caught no passes. So he caught 2 passes last week. Now the books are posting a prop for him. He's never even caught 1 pass in back-to-back games this year. He has yards in week 4, week 6, week 9, and last week. That's the only week he even has yards. In the other 8 weeks, he has 0 yards. Ryan Griffin going against the Seahawks, who, by the way, you're going to have to deal with some linebackers that you don't want to get hit by. This is just begging for an underbet.
See, this is interesting. All right. This is really, really interesting because you're giving me the number 2 tight end on the Jets in a game in which I would bet, like, with Jamal Adams playing safety for the Seahawks, hating the Jets as much as he does, if books offered a Jamal Adams over under 2 touchdowns in this game, I might take the over. That's how lit I think he's going to be in this game, how ready he's going to be to play the Jets in this game. And I think he's definitely going to want to take Ryan Griffin out over the middle. But do I want to bet on a Yukon Husky who's playing for the New York Jets? I don't know. Corner's giving me Chase Claypool from Notre Dame, who's been having a great year, and the other 2 guys are giving me dogs. Friedman, I know you want to come back in right now and try to convince me why your bet is better than everybody else's.
Here's the thing. Sean also gave you a guy who technically last week was the number 4 wide receiver on his team. All right. And Raybon's talking about a number 2 tight end who almost never touches the ball. Like, I get the bet. I made that same bet. I put a lot of the rationale that Raybon just put in there in the Action Network app. And Chad, you can find this bet that I pitched you in the Action app. About half of the books that we have listed in the app, you can list that Hamilton bet in there. So I'm taking the under. This is an easy cash for me, but I'll take the Sean Corner route and say, just parlay all of them, win all the money, enjoy your life.
Well, listen, I tried that this past week, and what happened to me?
Exactly.
You hired an idiot.
It's true. Corner, what are you going to say?
I'm not going to be nice here. Don't parlay these. I know you don't want to worry about Desean Hamilton or Ryan Griffin, even though they probably will win. What's more exciting than betting the over on one of the most talented rookie wide receivers in one of the most talented rookie wide receiver class of all time? And, Freeman mentioned, his playing time dropped significantly last week. He was wide receiver 4, and he was 2 yards away from clearing this prop, even in severely limited playing time. So that shows how much potential he has, even in limited playing time. So I think the sky's the limit with him. You got to go with Chase Claypool because that's the most exciting bet to root for.
This is a no-brainer, guys.
My guy's gone over it. My guy's gone under in 75% of his games.
This is a no-brainer. This is a fire Friedman and put all my money on Chase Claypool over 40.5 yards. And don't forget, reply to @Action Network HQ with how many yards you think Chase Claypool will have in the game against the Buffalo Bills. And you can win some real money. Darren, what's happening in the markets right now?
We are looking at the Titans. People think that the Titans against the Jags, especially as it's moved down to 7 from 7.5, even at 7.5, there were concerning amounts of people who thought that it was free. Just looking at the records of the Titans and the Jags, as the public tends to do, we have 82% of the bets and 89% of the money at PointsBet on the Titans at 7, mirroring it at pretty much all books, 81% of the money, 83% of the bets at FanDuel. So again, this is, people think, the freest money alive this week. It's a joke. Something's wrong. And I'm sure someone's going to tell us when something's wrong and the public likes it, that it is wrong. So go ahead.
All right. Let's talk about the sides. Sean Corner, you're up first. Tell me the side you think I have to be on today.
Well, thank you, Darren, for setting it up because I'm all over the Jaguars. +7, +7.5 here if you can get it. I'm even wearing my lucky Jaguars shirt, so they're guaranteed to cover today. The Jags are the sharp play this week. The Tennessee defense has been an issue all season. Their 17% pressure rate is second worst in the league. Now that they're out, they're without Jadeveon Clowney for the rest of the season with his knee injury. It's not going to get any better. Adoree Jackson still remains out with his knee injury. Kenny Vaccaro is ruled out this morning. So I don't see this defense, bouncing back anytime soon. And they just made Baker Mayfield look like Patrick Mahomes. So the Titans are, they're 8-4. But they've only won 2 games by 10+ points because despite their offense being great, and I think that's what people think of them when they think of the Titans, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, very exciting offense. They tend to forget that the defense lets teams back in the game. So, they typically get in 1-score games. They're 6-2 in 1-score games. So I think their record really doesn't describe how this team is on paper. And the Jaguars are almost the opposite. They tend to hang in games despite losing nearly every week. They've lost 10 straight. But over the past 5 games, they've only lost 1 game by more than 4 points, and that was against the Steelers. They kept it close against Minnie last week. They forced OT. They nearly upset the Packers a couple weeks ago. And Mike Glennon hasn't been terrible. He's 16th in success rate in his 2 starts. So, he's been playing average, and that's all we need today against the Titans. So this is one of those games where I think the Jaguars can keep it close. And even if they don't, there's a strong possibility of a backdoor cover here with this Jaguars offense. All the receivers are healthy. James Robinson is one of the best running backs in the game. So, it's pretty sneaky getting them at +7.5 if you can, because there is some backdoor potential here as well.
I mean, you do sound convincing, right? Everything you said sounds perfectly appropriate. But at the end of the day, if I parse it down a little bit, I've got, quote, Mike Glennon hasn't been that bad. Quote, this is a good opportunity for a backdoor. Quote, James Robinson is one of the best running backs in the league, which is the most hyperbolic thing you've ever said.
No, he is, Chad. Breaking in. He is. He absolutely is. James Robinson is all that and more. Don't hate on my guy, James.
My point is, Sean Corner sounds really smart right now, and I'm very tempted. But if I really try to break down every single sentence of what he just said, it makes me very, very nervous to bet on the Jags because that is a gross side to take. And I know it's probably the right side because you're getting a good number against a team that is incredibly overvalued in the Titans, even no matter what happened against them, what happened against the Browns last weekend. Friedman, give me something better to think about.
All right, Chad, I think you're going to hate this, which already pleases me. I'm going with the Panthers at -3.5 over the Broncos. I don't have a big pile of cash like you over there, but I do have this. It is a man's coin. It's the world's first and I believe only physical cryptocurrency. I will give it to you if you can tell me the 3 starting cornerbacks for the Broncos today. You can't. No one can. Not even the defensive backs coaches for the Broncos could do that. All 3 starters are out. AJ Boye is suspended. Bryce Callahan and Esong Basie are on IR. And that means the Broncos are starting 3 no-name backups at corner. Good luck with that against Robbie Anderson and Curtis Samuel. The Panthers have the better quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. They have the better offensive coaching staff. The Broncos have thrown a league-high 21 interceptions, and the Panthers have an improving defense that can be opportunistic and is getting back number 1 cornerback Dante Jackson. The Panthers are coming off the bye, and the Broncos are in a letdown spot after playing the Chiefs tough last week and still losing. I think this should be closer to 5. And so even with the hook at 3.5, I will gladly take the Panthers.
I got to say, Friedman is giving me real something tangible. And he's giving me a chance to bet on Teddy Covers, who I absolutely love. That is putting him in the lead right now. Raybon, can you take over?
Yes, absolutely, Chad. So I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons +1 at the Los Angeles Chargers. The wrong team is favored. I would bet the Falcons up to -2.5. Atlanta, since they fired Dan Quinn, is allowing 20 points per game and with a positive 6.9 point differential. Before Quinn was fired, they were allowing a negative 7.8 point differential and 32.8 points per game. So without Dan Quinn, it's been a 15 to 16 point swing in Atlanta's overall point differential. Now you're talking about a team that essentially just has to beat the Chargers to cover this line. Well, since the start of last year, the Chargers are 4-16 in 1-score games. And usually you say that's going to regress to the mean. 1-score games tend to be won and lost at about a 500 clip. Well, that's true, but there are always a few coaches that just don't regress, and then they just keep losing these games until they get fired. Remember Dan Quinn? Well, you have D'Anthony Quinn, as I like to call him, for the Chargers, 5-14 against the spread at home since 2018. You have to bet against him because you only have 4 games left, maybe even fewer, if the Chargers don't come out and show up today.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this is a tough one. The only thing that's keeping me from really wanting to go all in on the Falcons is that this feels too trendy to me. Like, it just feels like, of course, you're going to bet against the Chargers. It makes no sense to bet on the Chargers. I can't. That's like the one thing, and maybe that's sort of a blind spot for me because Friedman also just offered me a physical Bitcoin, and so I need someone to weigh in. I need a little bit more enticement to go with one side or the other.
Chad, I mean, come on. Julio Jones is not playing. And Raybon is asking you to take a side in a game with 2 teams that no one should ever want to bet on. And then Sean is asking you to bet against Derrick Henry going against the Jags. Come on. This is easy.
You're right. This is easy. This is crazy. Of course, I'm going with the Panthers. Of course, I want the Panthers and Teddy Bridgewater. And of course, I want to win the physical representation of Bitcoin from Matthew Friedman. So I'm going with the Panthers. Forget you, Chris Raybon. Forget you, Sean Corner. Katie Rich Creek, I want you to come from the Action Network news desk, and I want you to tell me a reason why I just made a good decision, if you can.
I actually can, because this trend that I'm about to share with you was in support of a pick that Friedman also had. So the Packers are anywhere between 7.5 and 8.5 point favorites on the road against the Lions today. And while that might feel like a lofty line, even against a 5-7 Detroit team, it has not scared the public away. A majority of tickets and money are on the Packers, and this trend, as highlighted by Friedman early in this week, I think as early as last Sunday, might help explain why Aaron Rodgers is 45-26 against the NFC North over his career, good for a 24.1% return on investment.
All right. Well, I do like the Packers today. I do think that's the right side. And I think, by the way, if you were to make a long shot bet on an MVP right now, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. But the next guy you got to put your money on, I know Raybon would hate this, we're going way off script, is Aaron Rodgers, because of the way the schedule shapes up and because of what he's been doing. Like, there's no way he's not the second best value to win the MVP. All right, let's go to the final segment. Let's go to some totals. Like what Sean Corner is doing here, I'm going to preview it a little bit, is so scary to me. Sean, what are you going to tell people?
Well, first of all, I think Raybon and I need to step up and start bribing you. And Freeman's not giving you Bitcoin. That's man's coin. It's priceless right now, so it's very valuable. But yeah, Raybon, we need to coordinate something here. But I'm going with the under in the Chiefs Dolphins game. Right now, it's at 50.5. Initially I wanted to take Miami plus 7.5 in this game. I think Brian Flores is one of the best coaches in the game, and if they manage to win here and the Steelers lose, I think he'll be the favorite for Coach of the Year. So I think he'll have a game plan to certainly slow down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. You can never truly shut them down. So I think, slowing them down is the way I describe it. But on the other side of the ball, Miami's not going to want to get in a shootout here, especially with Tua Tagovailoa under center. So I expect a more conservative, possibly run-heavy offense where they try to keep Mahomes on the sideline. I just envision this being a slower-paced game. And, the betting public is hammering the over right now. Last I saw, it was about 72% of the action on the over, and the line really hasn't moved at all. I'm projecting this game closer to 48.5. So I love taking 50.5. That's a pretty key number when it comes to totals. Maybe it might go up to 51 before kickoff, but I think this game's going to be a lot slower pace and lower scoring than the betting public believes.
All right, so now you want me to bet an under Patrick Mahomes. That is really interesting. Friedman, you've convinced me on one thing today. Can you do it again?
I doubt it. And let's be honest, I'm a little bit nervous now on Panthers minus 3.5 that you liked it so much, but we will move on. I like the under in Eagles and Saints. The total is 42.5 right now. I would bet it down to 41, maybe even 40. The under is 5-0 in the past 5 Saints games. And the total points scored in those games are 41, 40, 33, 34, and 37. And they've played some explosive offensive teams in that stretch. So it's not a whole bunch of give-me's. The two big developments for the Saints. On defense, they have regained their form from previous seasons. Right now, they look like one of the league's best defensive units. And on offense, with quarterback Taysom Hill, they're playing more of a ball control style. So they're scoring fewer points, about 5 fewer points per game and about 0.5 fewer points per drive. That is why the under is hitting. And if we look at the Eagles, there's quarterback Jalen Hurts. In fantasy, he has some upside because of his rushing ability, but it's a lot to ask of a rookie to get his fair share of the points against this defense in his first NFL start. The total is low at 42.5, but I don't think it's low enough, so I will gladly take the under in Eagles and Saints.
That's disgusting. I don't even want to talk about it. Raybon, you're next.
I'm going over 52 in Tennessee, Jacksonville. The Jaguars, Sean kind of waited out. They've been really pesky these last few games. They've scored 25 or more points in 4 of their last 6. So if you're thinking the Jaguars are going to kind of be the short end of the stick here, I think they're actually a lot better than people think. And Glennon is throwing it downfield. In these teams' last 2 meetings, they've scored 60 plus points each time, including earlier this season. But Matthew Friedman wants to talk about a trend that's 5-0 over the last 5 games. How about since Ryan Tannehill became the starter for the Titans, the over is 21-4-1, hitting at an 84% clip.
Listen, I saw you write that this morning. I read that in your story on Action Network. Read it in the app, get it at actionnetwork.com. That was astonishing to me. 84%. Like even Corner can't deny that is like a tremendously high percentage. I don't need to be the odds maker to know that 84% clip is ridiculously high. Corner, how can you walk me off of that bet onto yours?
I can't, because it does feed into my love for Jaguars plus 7.5. And, Raybon and I have joked in the past, it's really hard to project the Titans because Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry they're typically underrated in our models. And one of the things we concluded was just boost the team total for the Titans every week. The market continually underrates the Titans offense, I would say. But as I mentioned earlier, the defense is the issue with the Titans. So I really do think the Jaguars are going to be able to keep up. So I do like the over here as well.
I knew you would because you like everything. You've said one mean thing. It happened to be today. But the winner is going to be Raybon. And I didn't mean to split it up so each of you get a win today. But I do like the Jags Titans over 52.5. I've liked it since I read his story this morning. It's fantastic. So I'm going to go with Jags Titans over 52.5. Katie, what's the latest?
I have a first half total angle for you to consider. Over the first 10 weeks of the season, first half overs hit at a 61.3% rate. Over the past 4 weeks, so that's since week 11, they are hitting at only a 36.6% rate. So typical of trends as we get later in the season, but some food for thought.
No, I like it. I like it. Darren, you got anything else that we want to add? I know you've been coming.
The two biggest games that we've seen, the two biggest bets are 220,000 on both the Bills and the Ravens to win 200. But the bet that I'm now interested in is the guy that bet $3,000 on the Jets money line, 22,500 to win it if they get their first win.
That must be Ryan Griffin's father from Connecticut, because who else would do such a thing? All right. I got to run through our bets. My bets right now, the 3 bets I've been convinced of. Let me read them here. Chase Claypool over 40.5 receiving yards. Don't forget, reply to @Action Network HQ with his exact number of receiving yards. This is Sean Corner's exclusive Sunday Night Football prop revealed here on Convince Me. If you get the right number of yards, you will win some money. I also like, for some reason, Matthew Friedman convinced me on the Panthers -3.5. And me, along with Chris Raybon and Sean Corner, we love the Jags Titans over 52.5. Check out everything we're doing. Check out everything we're talking about. Check out all the picks that we're all making in the Action Network app for Convince Me. I am Chad Millman, along with Katie Rich Creek, Darren Ravel, Matthew Friedman, Chris Raybon, Sean Corner. The window's closing, folks. Go get that shmoney, like Chris Raybon likes to say.